Anudeep sir?
Yeah, hi.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can hear now.
Yeah, yes, sir. Good afternoon, one and all. Myself, Rajkumari Chilkuri, Assistant Professor, EC Department. I would like to introduce about the eminent speaker for this session, Mr. Anudeep Peddi. Mr. Anudeep Peddi is working as Product Architecture Design Consultant with Octahedron and Associate Development Consultant at STP Foundation. He is the alumni of IIIT Hyderabad. He is having about 11 years of experience into various academic and industrial roles. His research interests are neuromorphic computing, e-audiology, biomedical signal processing, and applications of artificial intelligence into healthcare and Internet of Medical Things. He is certified as Outstanding Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning Expert by IIIT Hyderabad and Talent Sprint. He delivered about 40 training programs at various national and international symposia on Python, machine learning, deep learning, data science, NLP, etc. He delivered lectures at several professional development programs for faculty and students of various engineering colleges in India. He has published many research papers in various national and international conferences and journals. It's my privilege to welcome you, sir. Let's welcome Mr. Anudeep Peddi, sir, to start the session on hands-on session on Python for machine learning algorithms.
Yeah, thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Anudeep sir, you can share your screen, sir.
Yeah, just a moment. I think I don't have rights to share.
Hello.
Yeah, I cannot share my screen.
Just give me 1 minute, sir. Sir, option you have, sir. Will you please check once?
Yeah, just a moment. No, can't share your screen. Okay, just a moment. Yeah, you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Uh, just let me know if there is any issue. Okay, I'll be moving out of the Google Meet.
Maximize your screen.
Anudeep, can you please keep your slide in presentation mode?
Yes, ma'am. Now it is clear, right?
No.
No, no, sir.
Just a moment.
Press F5, sir.
Sorry.
Now you can see, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, right.
If possible, switch on your video also, sir.
I have less bandwidth.
Okay.
No problem. No problem. Like in between, sometimes you.
Yeah, whenever you are ready to take some screenshot kind of thing, just let me know so that I can switch on the video, right?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Yes. So thanks for the kind introduction. Uh, yeah. So my idea of the current 1.5 to 2 hour session is to cover how to attempt any mathematical problem to solve with any sort of computer programming language. So my current interest of the programming language taken is Python, but the basic theoretical level of understanding or the session covers about any other thing that you can proceed with, right? So for any basics of programming, computer programming thing, we have to first go through some basic understandings of what kind of computer we are working with and what are the different softwares that we can able to work with, and what are different servers or smartphones or wearable devices or gaming consoles or TVs or some other electronic gadgets that are connected to the computer, or how we want to operate those devices along with the current programming current applications, right? So we have plenty of computers nowadays available with different hardware and software requirements and different capabilities of memory storages, accessibilities, and for different applications, etc. Right. So one of the best computer we can say is a smartphone, whereas even the computational power of the smartphone sized any computer can also be replaceable nowadays with some wearable devices like any smartwatch or some other hearable device, etc. Right. So gaming consoles are also some of the real-time computing machines nowadays, where higher amount of hardware requirements are connected with some software UI user interface kind of things to give you the feel of a real game, right? And depending on several other factors, nowadays TVs are also equipped with enough hardware and software integration. So I'm in my view currently, any smart TV is also a kind of computer that we can work on. So all these things what I have projected on the screen are some sort of computers that we are currently working on, right? So the only question is whether we are getting any reply from these devices when we are questioning them with some problem. So for example, if you take an Alexa device or any other filtering option available in some chatbot kind of thing, etc., are able to give back some kind of result after we are questioning them, right? So the idea of getting back some answer from the device is to maintain some corpora where there will be some set of questions and some set of answers available, and we'll be trying to pick some of the questions from the posed question and some answers from the point of view of the computer, right? So to incorporate some kind of connection between the question and answer, we'll be using our programming language or some kind of problem or problem formulation or answer formulation out of the given question to get the best result out of that respective computer, right? So more or less all of the computers I have mentioned here are working with a similar kind of methodology, right? There will be a software which will be in some language or some group of languages together, to maintain some relationship between the hardware and software, and then producing some kind of results and giving back our output in some format. It could be from a speech from a speaker, or it could be some kind of visual attention that projected on a screen, or some kind of both the visual and the audio together, right? So currently new trend of AR VR technologies are also available in the market for very cheaper costs, etc., right? So all of them are working on the same basic idea, that what is the question given and what is the answer returned, right? So in this particular session, I would like to emphasize on the connection between the problem and the answer. So we have computers everywhere, so it is imperative to understand a language they speak, because we are not familiar with speaking with ones and zeros continuously, right? So but we can learn some kind of language that can be convertible into ones and zeros and start working on it, depending on the sort of application we are working on, right? So to understand how computers can be used to automate that specific repetitive tasks that we are trying to question and answer, and getting back an answer from the computer is a main task or main goal of this specific session. So we are tending to write some sort of programs, especially on Python, for some specific applications also. So the process of usually the programming will be problem description to writing a solution code, but it is not so familiar with some person who are not so familiar with some kind of new language that they have been working on to directly write some sort of solution in some coding language, right? So being some sort of computer enthusiast, we have to break the path between the problem description and writing a code or solution to a specific code must be broke down into some parts, right? So for that reason, we have to first model what actually the problem is, or specifically create some kind of understanding of the problem, and then moving to finding out whether there is any logical solution for the problem. Definitely there will be any logical solution for any kind of problem available, but it is only the user understanding of attempting that respective problem in some logical format, and then going to attempt it with some respective code will be completely or giving back us some kind of description of the whole problem. If we have failed at some point of time, there will be some error code that we can observe out of the compiler or executing platform. So depending on that, again we'll be reforming the description of the problem, and again moving to model it in a different way and understanding it or giving a solution in different logical format, and then coding it back again. And this process is a repetitive process till we succeed in especially able to decode the problem. So with the experience, the separation between these stages can be blurred for any person who is working better on the any language, maybe may not require a better understanding of modeling the problem and logical solution. They may even go for directly writing a code for that respective thing, right? So that again depends on the experience and how you are enthusiastic towards attempting the problem, right? So there are plenty of real-time situations where we work on different things, right? For example, here I have shown an IRCTC website that continuously, maybe after some point of time, when we leave that respective website idle, it will be moving out of our login page, right? So so you may be experiencing with your session has expired. So it means that continuously IRCTC may not be working for some specific person, though he is in or she is in ideal condition, right? So there must be some sort of solution, some sort of definitions to overcome the extra hardware burden that to be implementing some sort of applications. So defining and modeling the problem should consider this as a basic need while working with some problem. I repeat, so you need some sort of understanding of the hardware and software requirements while working with some problem. And also to decode how to overcome this understanding of the problem, maybe most of the time all the problems will be defined in a precise fashion and will be looking to be more simple, but most of the time a model or some examples will also be providing the similar kind of content, so which may not happen in a real life kind of scenario, right? So if, for example, if you are explaining some thing to a kid, must be more elaborative than a person who is having enough experience on it, right? So similar sort of idea. So step 2 is to obtain a logic solution to our problem, and then a logic solution is again a finite and clear step-by-step procedure to solve our problem, but always the step-by-step procedure that we have to follow while solving some problem may not be the same for all the problems, right? So for that reason, what we are doing is we are developing some kind of algorithm which seems to be almost similar for any kind of problem, as I have shown you the flowchart of decoding the steps between the definition of the problem to writing a code and overcoming it, right? So so this step-by-step process itself, we are calling it as algorithm. And if we have some specific graphical interface kind of things are available, we can also show it in a graphical abstract form of thing. So we usually call it as a flowchart in a traditional language, and this is one of the important step in any programming process, because somebody might be defining the algorithm or flowchart of some problem, and somebody else might be working to write the code or to answer that specific problem in combining some different languages or different things together. So this is a small meme from Big Bang theory that the friendship algorithm or flowchart. So they have a lot of steps together, which may be iterating between a lot of other things, etc., etc. Right. So another funny example that algorithms in real life may not always work with the same mixture of things together. Right. So for example, ingredients for microwave chocolate cake are as following. Right. And the steps, if we observe, also remain same, but if there is any change of the quality of the things that we are considering while making some chocolate cake are different, then definitely the outcome of the whole product will be little different than the earlier if we are having enough experience too, right? So algorithms in real life are completely different to what we are trying to implement them in a software scenario, right? So this is also another funny example from Go Comics. So Hobbs and this fellow are maintaining some thing. Okay. So another step is to convert the algorithm into some working code. So we have come up with some idea of how to implement some problem, to how to implement some solution for any problem, etc. So now we have to work on some code that answers each part of the algorithm or the flowchart that we have defined. So this is a stage where you are required some sort of language to communicate with the computer so that it can give us the better solution for the problem, right? So when we are working on some language, definitely syntaxes and semantics must be known, especially like how we habituate ourselves in working with some new language, English or Tamil or Telugu or some sort of background language. So maybe if we are comfortable with other language, so first we will be trying to convert our basic fundamental idea into that particular part, and then converting the semantics and syntaxes of that respective language to the needed language. So if your model or the solution is wrong, then the program will also be definitely wrong. So the basic funda for this kind of model is garbage in will be definitely garbage out, right? So some sort of activities like divide the following tasks into some two categories, that is algorithm like and not like algorithms. So we can divide each and everything that we are working on a computer language into two parts, so algorithm like and not algorithm like. So teaching someone how to run a marathon and arranging students of a class according to their heights, etc., jumping on a bed, making some morning coffee, etc. So these are some sort of real-time examples that we can understand. So though we have some specific what do we say, rules and regulations how to run a marathon, or how to make a tea, or how to sleep, or how to jump on a bed, etc., we may not be always perfect, or we may not be executing exactly according to the rules and regulations of that particular execution process, right? So that is also one of the reason why there should be some iterative process between defining a problem and executing the problem, right? So yeah, just a second, I'll move to the other presentation. So there are plenty of things to be considering while choosing some language, right? So now the interesting language of the whole world is Python, because of the flexibility to automate anything that is available in the whole world. Maybe it is when we consider any sort of sensor to start working and breaking that recording into some parts, analyzing that data, or automating the whole process and working for some application, etc., etc. So if we take the whole process, so Python will be helpful for us in developing any sort of application to be automated, right? So there are also some advantages over the current languages and disadvantages over the current languages also. But as of the day, it have more plenty of advantages compared to the disadvantages also. So we'll look into both of the things now. The world's most programming language that is used, right? So coming to the history of Python, Python is just a small experiment in how much freedom that programmers needed. So too much of freedom and nobody can read another's code. Too little and expressiveness is endangered. So this is something that is quoted by the creator of Python. So Python is a language that was created in 1989 for processing some administrative tasks. So Python is a scripting language, and it is released publicly in 1991, which was evolved later, that was released into the public forum. So Guido van Rossum is the creator of the Python. So he is currently with the Oracle. So why is the language named Python? So this is the common question that we can observe from many of the young minds. So there are plenty of even conspiracies in some answers that you can observe from many of the websites that we browse. So it is named after Monty Python, which is a British comedy group. The answer for this question is C. And there are plenty of reasons why the Python has become the world's popular language. As said, there are plenty of applications that are being incorporated into the automation part of many applications. So another important question that to be followed is Python slow in terms of speed? Frankly speaking, yes. Why? Because there are some reasons for it. Because the high level, because it is the high level programming language, and that is not the reason why it is speed. It is not so speed. So though Python is comparatively a slow language with some of the high level other programming languages available, these are again said that because of the applications that are needed for the current scenario can be solved by using Python, and that is the reason why, though it is little slower comparatively, it is being used for many other applications. So it is a high level programming language, and Python is interpreted and not compiled. Python is dynamically typed language, and it have global interpreter lock. So when we go for multi-threading in Python, there will be a large heat that will be produced out of your computer. And that is the reason why when we are working on some sort of automation using Python, then it is recommended to use the graphical processor to our computers. So though we have some drawbacks, it is popular because of more or less there are 9 out of 10 times the slower performance of Python doesn't matter, as said, because it is the need of the current scenario. And then because of it, the end users just don't care about the conditions. And it is also important that it is more productive comparatively. So we have a funny comparison between Python, Java, C++, Unix, assembly language, C, LaTeX, and HTML also. So almost kind of Python is plagiarized from all the languages that we can observe. Though it is plagiarized, it is the most used languages that are available. So is the speed only factor you should consider, or is Python good for some speed intensive application? So these are the some of the important answers that we will get out of this whole session. So moving out into another this one, yeah. So moving into why and how of Python. So this is more easier to learn and simple to apply. So and also at full featured with some sort of easily readable and maintainable kind of programming language that is available in the whole world. So you might be knowing what the first green color language that you can observe is C, and then Java, the orange one which is on the right side, and which are trying to print the same kind of output, that is hello world. But if you observe the Python which is on the 2x1 block, so that is the easiness, or a more comparatively easily to print or easily usable, and a lot of other things. So no need to invoke a lot of things while working on Python. It is just that we can just go ahead with a print of some text to print the text, right? So that is the more what do you say is easier kind of thing that attracts more number of young minds to use the same for a lot of applications, right? So if Python meets C, again another meme, like kind of Python doesn't invoke any kind of libraries indirectly or directly on the coding platform, right? So though C language is very old, it is trying to invoke a lot of libraries to just run a small part of the program. So this is that speaking the same. So as Python is simple, easy to learn, and at full featured, and there are easily readable and maintainable programs. So if we have some programming experience in any sort of background, so the language can be anything. So we can easily able to shift into writing something on Python. So if you don't have programming experience, then even better, no confusions at all. So you can directly jump into writing a program more or less in a general language that how we speak, right? So, and also it covers full data science task cycles, which include acquisition, data pre-processing, databases, data analytics, machine learning, big data, HPC, and many more. An interpreted language, so the debugging is easier, and hence there will be a less code size than compared to the um, those of other familiar languages that we know. So another most important thing that we should consider while using Python is it has a very huge library support. Because of the open source frameworks development nowadays, there are plenty of libraries that are being developed by plenty of industries, plenty of individual researchers for many other applications to be used in Python. Right. So some of the examples of these things are web application frameworks like Django, Flask, Pyramid, Bottle, CherryPy, etc. And also the more familiar things in machine learning and data science frameworks like scikit-learn, SciPy, Keras, TensorFlow, NLTK, and many more. So there are definitely better future business prospects with these kind of languages, especially the Python. And AI and machine learning, as well as for some sort of data science application building. So though there are some competitive programming languages available, Python is best chosen out of the advantages that we have already spoken. So it is being used for web application development, desktop applications, mobile applications, games, web scraping, powerful visualizations, hardware, and many more. So it is all a kind of all-rounder programming language that is available in the current day. So obviously, business people will always look for this kind of language to develop some kind of application. So it is highly profitable, definitely. Right. So Python code can also run on any other machine with different OSs like Linux, Mac, and or Windows, etc. So they have some great corporate sponsors like Google, as it is sponsored by Google and some other leading multinational companies who are investing to develop a lot of libraries into it. They have a very huge community base. So if you have any issues while working on some sort of application development, so definitely you will get some support from the community that is available using Python. So, and also the compatibility with major platforms and systems. As said earlier, more or less the automation part of the every other application is using Python nowadays. So uh, every young person can develop something on his own or her own by using the Python, right? So there are some platforms like Raspberry Pi to develop some Internet of Things based applications. So we can definitely use Python as it is free and open source. So if you observe the life cycle of any program that to developed by the Python language, so writing or editing a code, running it, if it runs well, then go with applying more number of inputs. Or if it is not running with more number of inputs, run again, observe what is happening, and again go back, re-edit whatever is available, and then finish off the application in a more ease and flexible fashion. So write your program or edit. So that is what the first step. Run your program on an input, and so on. So Python programming platforms, if we observe, there are plenty of platforms that are available. So we can directly run a command line based Python on Bash. And also we have some user interface based IDE options available, like kind of Anaconda IDE, PyCharm, etc. And also there are online Python based platforms available like Google's Colab, Pruter, Jupyter, etc. So IDEs for Python programming, many options here like Anaconda, PyCharm, Google Colab. IDEs typically consists of some kind of Python shell, editor, debugger. And if you observe the debugger, there will be more or less the object inspector kind of thing. So I have shown the spider based IDE here. If some of you have already installed spider, then it is fine, or else I'll be moving out of this part, and I'll give you some overview on Google Colab. Shall I proceed with Colab, or shall I proceed with Spider? Somebody answer, please. Hello. Okay. So, yeah, ma'am.
Whichever is more useful to the participants, you please explain that one.
Yes, ma'am. So, yeah, if it is used only by you used only on a PC, then we can go for using Spider or PyCharm. Or it is more flexible for anybody who can work on some online based this one, right? So we'll better go for looking into what is this Google Colab. So collab.research.google.com is the basic website for Colab. So you can see this if you open Google Collaboratory, and I'll spend a very few minutes on giving you the basic idea on Collaboratory. So this is the basic view when we open the Collaboratory on any internet based this application. It could be Chrome, it could be Safari, it could be Opera, etc. Right. So if we want to start a programming on Python, we can select a new notebook. So it will be redirecting you to use the Collaboratory's server, where the program will be defaultly saved into your Google Drive, right? So only the need to access Google Colab is you must have a Google email or Google account, right? So I have my Google account associated with this browser, and hence it is not asking me to log in. So if you are not yet logged into any browser, so or your Gmail account or some sort of Google based application, then you must first log into that respective account, right? So this is what it looks like when you are not yet started writing any code. So this is what the name of the program that gives in a default fashion untitled extension, untitled 1 2 3 or untitled.ipynb, etc. So ipynb is nothing but IPython notebook. So an internet based functionality can be observed here. So IPython notebook. So we have plenty of options that are available with Colab, as it is sponsored or developed by the Google. We have a lot of options here. So you can easily directly go to the drive where this respective program is stored by selecting this locate in drive, or open in playground mode. Playground mode is also the same where we can start sharing with our friends and working on the same notebook, etc. And then selecting new notebook will create a new notebook, or else if we already have something on your desktop or drive, you can go for selecting open notebook, or else you can go for selecting upload notebook to upload some existing file into the Colab. And we have other options like renaming, moving, move to trash, etc., followed by save a copy in drive, save a copy as a GitHub gist, so which is currently a new trend that is happening. Whatever the code that you have developed or application that you have developed can be directly saved into the GitHub repository of your own account. So that is also we can access with our Google account. So save pin version, revision history, these are all just to save whatever that we have made some changes onto the coding part of the file. And we can also able to download this in both the versions, that to be accessible by any other Jupyter based platform, or else directly we can run it by downloading a .py file on any other machine when there is any IDEs that are installed on that machine. Right, we can also directly go for printing whatever the program that is available, just like any other Chrome page. Right, so we can go for selecting different cells. So this is one cell that we are talking about. We can select that one, we can cut, we can paste different things, etc., etc. And coming to the next important one, view table of contents is one of the important thing that we must observe, because when we are working on some databases that are temporarily uploaded into this file, so then we have to observe where it is saved, or how it can be processed, right? So or else if we want to convert from one sort of a format to the other sort of format, like for example xlx file can be converted into .csv file, or .csv file can be converted into a JSON, or vice versa, can be made using Python. So all of these things can be saved and accessed from this table of contents place. So we can also hide some part of the codes, or we can hide or show all the outputs, or some part of the outputs that are available. And insert is nothing but now we can insert a code cell or a text cell. So there is a difference between code cell and text cell, that here you can observe this is a code cell, so we can write something and run. Or if you want a text cell, then we can go for inserting a text cell, or directly you can check this text, right? So this is a text cell. So we have some formats that you can observe. So this is a normal text that you can able to print, or else if you want to make some changes to that respective file, respective content that you are trying to write, you can also make that change, right? Or else you can add some things to underline or attract in some point of way, right? So there are plenty of options like this that we can observe while writing code, because it is more important that we should remember what we are writing while developing some application, right? So many days later we might be forgetting because of some other things, what we have written or how we have written. So this is one place where we can easily able to express our interest of writing the code in the similar fashion, right? Or you can also divide some part of application development um, in a more number of ways, right? So that is about how we insert and how we manage the code and text things. And section header, scratch code cell, code snippets are also part of while we work with Colab, but these two are comparatively more useful for anyone. And we also able to run each and every part of code directly or indirectly. So we can individually able to run the code cell, or we can run all the code cells together, or we can do some sort of thing in that way, right? Also we can disconnect sometimes when we are not needed to run all the parts of the codes, right? So to when we come to tools, there are command palette settings, keyboard settings, or some other definitions that we can observe here. So while working with runtime, yeah, not change runtime type is one of the important thing that we can observe. So there is a option called hardware accelerator, where defaultly for any new program that the new notebook that we create in Google Colab is given with no hardware accelerator. but as it is sponsored and developed by Google, it is allowing to use their GPU and TPU based servers when we work with some kind of big applications, right? So GPU is nothing but graphical processing unit, and TPU is nothing but tensor processing unit, where you will be working on different levels of using graphics or tensors, different tensors together, etc. So it is just accelerating the runtime of the program when we are working on a very complex applications, right? So this is how we'll be able to work on a Google Colab platform. So we can also move up and down. So if we want to move these code cells and text cells, move up and down, we can able to do that, or we can able to edit, we can able to comment, we can also include some kind of what do we say, website links that to be included into the text, etc., etc., right? So till now, if there is any doubt, you can ask me, or else I'll proceed to the basic part of Python programming, and then we will look into some applications. Yeah, so this is what I'm saying about. We can easily able to write something exactly on a notebook, how we write with our pen on a paper kind of thing. We can able to define some things here and then write some codes, followed by when we run these particular things, we can get some results, right? So I'll just go with runtime. So I'm running all the cells together as of now. Unrecognized runtime. Okay. So for the first time when we run on any Jupyter platform, it will take some time. It depends on the internet connection, how the other things are available, right? So other hardware things that are available with the computer. So the first part of the program is clear. So we can write some Python based code like this. So import keyword. So this is how we import any new library. So we'll come back to why we are doing that little later, but just for the time sake, I'm just trying to show you how simple we can able to work on Python. So import keyword, it is nothing but we are importing a new library into the platform. So our Colab is a platform now. So I'm importing the keyword library into this platform, and KW list is nothing but keyword list that are available. Whatever the keywords that are available with the Python can be displayed in this fashion: print total number of keywords, comma, length of keyword dot kw list. So we are getting something like this. So print keyword dot kw list, nothing but it is printing whatever the keywords that are available with the Python, and then in the next line it is printing total number of keywords 35. So if I made some change like this, so you can observe it is more feasible to understand that this is a text that we have written inside the print, and this is what the outcome of len keyword that we have used inside this print statement, right? So there are about 35 keywords in the Python 3.x. So there are also identifiers that are available. So for example, if we are using some keywords as some variable, it is not allowed to use, obviously, right? So it is showing some kind of error while using global as a variable to store value of 1. Similarly, special symbols cannot be used while working with some data to store into a variable. So a at is a special symbol here. So a at is equal to 10 is not recommended to use, right? So moving forward again. Yeah. So it is easy to comment something on Python. So here the helps us to comment something in a single line format. So hash print hello comma world to console. So this is what my comment here is, and I'm trying to print whatever the statement here it is. So print of hello comma world. So for the first cell to run inside any Python, it is the same. It takes some time. So hello comma world. So whatever that is there inside the quotations of the print, that will be as it is printed in the output console. Right. So we can also go for using multi-line comments. For example, here we have only a one-line comment, and hence we have used single hash. But if it is on multi-line, it is difficult to go with commenting on multi-line like this. So for maybe for the users to see, it is easy to comment a 3-line. But if it is 3,000 lines, it will be difficult. So for that reason, Python have given us a flexibility that wherever the start of the comment is there, we'll be just going with a quotation like this with 3 quotes, right? So this is a double quotation that we have used, 3 double quotations at the start and 3 double quotations at the end. We can also go for the single quotations. We can also go for triple quotations. So docstring in Python is, so docstring is a short for documentation string. So it is a string that occurs as the first statement in any module, function, class, or method definition. So you can observe that I'm defining something here. So def space double of num, and I am trying to use some comment here, that is function to double the number. So return to star number, print double of 10. So as I have used double here, it is showing some invalid syntax. So we'll come back to why, and then followed by print double dot doc underscore something, some what is this, comment kind of thing like this. So again, as we are not completely using this double with a sort of definition here, we are getting a syntax error here. So we'll also look into how to overcome them a little later. For just understanding purpose, I'm mentioning them here. So next one followed by Python indentation. So indentation is something that we'll be using for any other language while writing some code. So most of the programming languages like C, C++, Java uses flower braces to define some specific block of the code, right? So we are so familiar with that. So Python don't go with using some sort of flower braces kind of thing to specify a block of code. So instead, it will be using something called indentation. So if you observe here, for is a loop. Usually we follow using some braces when we start entering into the part of for and exiting from the for, right? So here for space I space in space range of 10 is the case or the condition of the I that we are defining using for, right? Followed by, usually I have to use flower brace as Python is an indentation based language. I'm giving enough space to understand by the compiler that this print I is part of for. I repeat, print I is part of for, right? So when we run it for I in range 10, print I, okay, just let me run again. Yep. So it has stopped running. There is some error. So for I in range 10, print of I. So like this, it is printing in a step-by-step fashion like this, right? So if true, print machine learning, C AP trainings. If true, print machine learning, comma, C AP trainings, and so on. So there are plenty of ways to print or to organize some part of the code while working with Python, right? So we will look into how we are moving forward. So another one is so instructions that a Python interpreter can execute are called statements. So this is a single line statement. A is equal to something like this, equal to 1. So this is a single line statement. We can also go for multi-line statement like this. A is equal to 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8. Instead of writing in the same line, we can go for choosing something like this. So we are using the bar, this one slash, so that compiler can understand that this all belongs to the same line, but we have written this for some other understanding, right? So we can so you can observe that print of A will be giving us the result like this. So print of A is giving us result like this. So this is all written on Python 2, and that is the problem here. So we can change the usage of Python 2 or 3 in the statement itself. So yeah, so another way is we can also go for writing something in this way. A is equal to 1 plus 2 plus 3 and so on, 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8, so on like this, right? So to print that values like this. So A equal to 10, B equal to 20, C equal to 30. So we can also go for writing multiple statements in a single line just by separating it with a comma line like this, right? So moving forward to the next part, that is using different variables and variable assignments. So just a second. Yeah. So now I have changed it to Python 3 rather than running in a Python 2. So now it will be more easier for us to understand. Yeah. So yeah, so this is how we declare variables. So little expansion for what we have seen in 1 and 2 files. So we are again moving back to understanding how we can define a variable and work on something with the similar lines. Okay. Yeah. So we have defined an integer here. A is an integer, A equal to 10, B equal to 5.5 float value, and C is a character, that is ML. So always remember the characters can be assigned with a quotation like this. And we can also go for multiple assignments like this in a single line. Right. So all, or we, if we want to assign the same thing to multiple variables, we can also go for some assignment in this way. Right. So as I have already run, they have already presenting us the output. So x equal to 3, print ID of x. So it means wherever that is stored, the address of this 3 that is stored, that is displayed here. So as it is working on, as Colab is working on server, so it is giving us, returning us some kind of the server value. So y equal to 3 also the same. It is giving us, it returning us the similar value. So y equal to 2, print ID of y. So again, if we have changed, there is a change in the storage of values that if you observe. So the y equal to 3, and with here it is y equal to 2. And the return of that address is also little different because the values of both the things are different. Similarly, if you observe the same for different data types, so we will observe what happens when we work with different things. So A is equal to 5, print A is of type A, means I'm taking all the three things to print in a single go. Print A, comma, is of type, comma, type of A. So already A is storing a value of 5, right? So this is of type integer, and this is of this is of type is just some text, right? So, and that is the reason why I have quoted it, and whatever the text that is here will be directly printing out of the statement. So for example, if I write it like this, so is of type, so this is the change that I have placed. So type of A, it is returning us the result that that A is belonging to the class integer. So similarly, if I observe for a different value of A, that is floating type, it is giving us some result in this fashion. A, as A is 2.5, it is returning 2.5, and the type of that particular thing is class of float. Similarly, we can also go for defining something in a complex format. A equal to 1 plus 2j. Print A is complex number. Hence, the print will be as it is printing a 1 plus 2j in this format. So you can observe the difference of printing between an integer, a floating value, and a complex number. Right. So always complex number will be printed by the compiler between these brackets. So print A is complex number, 1 plus 2j is complex number, question mark. So this is on one line, and we are writing another print statement in the another line, hence that is returning us the answer true, right? So if we are again including the same thing, is instance 1 plus 2j complex inside this particular part, it will be returning the result in the same line again, like how we have got some output in the earlier cell codes. Similarly, for Boolean inputs, so A is equal to true. So true itself is a Boolean value. So you can observe that the color of the function that are the keywords that we can use inside the program, Python program, will be in a blue color. It means it is a keyword, and the Boolean especially will be in the fashion like this. So print type A. So type A is nothing but this is Boolean, and hence we are getting a return as class bool. Bool, B-O-O-L defines what is called Boolean type. Similarly, if we are working with some strings, strings are nothing but extension of usage of multiple number of characters together, and hence we are getting something like this. So S is equal to, this is online AI course. So I have a statement written between, quotations, and hence we are getting the result in this fashion. This is online AI course. So whatever the statement that we have written between the quotations, that will be completely printed in a single line format at the output part of the cell code, right? So proceeding it further, so you can observe we can make lot of things with Python with some simple tricks, right? So I'm now interested to work on some part of the whole string, right? So print S of 0. S is my name of this particular statement, and now always remember the Python's count will be starting from 0 if you consider anything. For example, if this is my statement and I want to count how many number of characters inside it, so the T position will be starting from 0 followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is completed, and 4, the empty space is completed, followed by 5, I, yes, empty space, and so on, right? So always when we want to observe or change some of the things that are already in the given variable, then we have to start working from 0, right? If you want to make some changes to the given text or given some number of values, etc., so you should definitely work with definitely when we work with Python, you have to remember that it starts from, the count starts from 0. Right? So the S of 0th position is at capital T. In the similar fashion, we can also come from the last part of this one, the whole statement, right? For example, last character is s of length of s minus 1 or s of minus 1. We can also write in this fashion to observe what is the last character. Similarly, we can also go for slicing. So, for example, if you observe S5 quotation, colon at the end. So, if we are not specifying anything before or after colon, it means that before colon means it is from the start, and after the colon means it is till the end. So, what I am specifying here is make the slice from 5 to the end. So we are getting the outcome as, so 5 is T1 0 H1 2 3 4. So the empty space is at 4, right? Hence we are slicing the entire statement from fifth position, and fifth position is nothing but I. Hence we are getting the outcome as is online AI course. So whatever that is there inside the statement, that will be as it is printed according to our requirement while slicing. So similarly, following the list, so there are some important points that we have to observe while working with the data types of this one, right? So while working with list, we can define the list as follows. A is equal to, you can observe the bracket that we have used while defining a list are squares, right? Square brackets that we have used. So when we are working on lists, always we define a list in the form of something between square bracket, right? So print A of 1. 1 means it starts from 0, the count starts from 0. So 0 is occupied by 10 and 1 is 20.5, and that is printed. Got it, right? So any doubts? We are working on lists. Always lists will be defined in Python between square brackets. So usually the lists are mutable. They have some meaning. The values of elements of list can be altered. So A of 1 is equal to 30.7. Earlier it is 20.5. Now I have given a value to be stored at A of 1th position as 30.7, and hence we are getting an outcome as 10, 30.7, which is replaced, 20.5 is replaced by 30.7, and the others remain same. List will be always a list. When we are giving a new value to the existing position, then the existing value will be replaced with the new value that is given, right? But it is list again. So Python tuple. So tuple is an ordered sequence of items, same as a list. The only difference is that tuples are immutable. It means we once we define or create a tuple, it cannot be modified at all, right? So t is equal to 1, 1.5, and a text or character kind of thing that is quoted between quotations, that is ML. So print t of 1, so 0, 1, so that is 1.5 is printed. So if you observe, the tuple can be defined by using a normal braces t of normal brackets like this. So this defines that t is a tuple now, right? So earlier, if you observe, the A is a list, right? So here the t is a tuple now. So if we want to extract some particular element out of a tuple, we can do that. But we cannot add any other element to the existing position, existing tuple. So t of 1 is equal to 1.25, because already we have done this. So 1.25 cannot be replaced into the first position of the tuple. That is 1.5 cannot be replaced with 1.25. Or the same can be applied for any other value. Next one is set. So if you observe, A is equal to 10, 30, 20, 40, 5. Right. So set is something that is an unordered collection of unique items. unordered collection of unique items. So set can be defined by something like this, which are separated by some commas and defined between the braces, right? So which we usually call it as floater bracket. So items of set are not ordered. So for example, if we have given something like this, a is equal to 10, 30, 20, 45, and if we start printing this one, it can be printed like this. So 5, 40, 10, 20, 30, and so on, right? So similarly, print type A, if we run this, it will be returning us a value that the class of this one is set, right? S is equal to 10, 20, 20, 30, 30, 30. So we can use multiple values inside a set, but it will store in a single format like this. It won't duplicate at all. In set, we cannot duplicate the values that can be used, that are used, right? So print s of 1. So we'll be printing, print s of 1. So yeah, we can't print particular element in any set because it's unordered collection of items, right? So you can observe that 0th position is occupied by 10, followed by 20, 20, 30, 30, 30. But as said, set can be storing the values without duplication. As it is storing the values without duplication, we cannot able to retrieve the specific position of the value from the set. We can go for printing how many number of things that are available with it, right? So that is a different scenario. And the other one is dictionary, where some set of things can be defined and given as input like this. So D is equal to A, apple, B, bat. So print print D of A. So you can observe that we have two things that are available inside a dictionary, that is something before the colon and something after the colon. So we usually call that before the colon as key and after the colon as value. So some values can be assigned to some keys, right? So when we want to call what are the values that are there inside the key, we can only call the key value key like this, not value, key like this. So D of A is able to return us a value that is stored inside A. Similarly, if we want to observe B like this, we can go for writing something this way. So print of D of B gives us a return value of B bat, right? So we can also go for conversion of data types. For example, we have an integer here, float of 5. So we can convert the float value, integer value into a floating value like this. Similarly, we can go for converting a floating value into integer like this. So you can observe the difference that I have changed 100.5 as 100.6 as input, and I want to convert it into integer. Though I have changed the value greater than 0.5, it is still taking the value of 100. It means blindly compiler will be only considering whatever the integer that is there before the point, right? So it is the value that is there before the point is considered and printed here, right? So similarly, we want to convert some value into a string. So this is an integer, 20 is an integer, but as we are converting that into a string, it is represented as quotation 20. It means now compiler is reading this particular 20 as a character or string, right? So conversion to and from a string must contain some compatible values. For example, int 10p. So I have used 10 followed by p. So 10 is a numerical value and p is a character. So we cannot able to work on a mixed condition like this. I repeat, we cannot able to work on a mixed condition like this. 10p is not we cannot work on Python with a kind of text like this, followed by user equal to Satish, lines equal to 100. So print congratulations plus user, followed by a text exclamatory mark you just wrote, followed by plus str of lines, followed by plus, and again some text like this. So it means we can able to concatenate different texts whatever that are available in this format. For example, print congratulations comma, which is quoted between this one, user, that is Satish is stored into the user, and hence it is directly called as user. So Satish, exclamation you just wrote, so exclamation you just wrote, followed by str of lines, the string of lines is 100, so that is 100 printed, followed by lines of code. So if you observe, if we don't give the spaces inside the quotations that we are writing, so it will be printing in the similar fashion whatever we have given here. It is not that two other things between a concatenation can be separated by a space. It is not like that. So if you want a space between two different things that is included to print, you must have to mention that empty space between both the things, right? And that is the reason why we are writing something in this fashion, right? So we can go for multiple statement writings like this if we have multiple things to print at the same time in a single paragraph kind of thing. Similarly, a is equal to 1 2 3, so print type of a will be returning us what this particular 1 to a is, that is it is storing something in the form of a list, so it is returning us what is the class of that particular a, that is list. And similarly, if it is set a, it is representing returning us the value of type, that is set. Similarly, if we are writing something like this, list hello HELLO, so all are separated in this format, H separated, ELLO, all of these things are separately printed in this fashion. So when we want to separate some things inside the paragraph, every other a character can be separated, I want some output in that fashion, we can also go for something like this, right? So moving forward, just a second. Right. So we will look into the input output print formats. Yeah. Okay. So print of hello world gives us whatever that statement that we are trying to give inside the print will be printed as it is, like this. So if a is equal to 10, print the value of a is comma a in Python 3, like this. So in other go, just a second, I'll show you something different. So the value of a is 10, right? So if it is in Python 2, we can able to write something in this way, right? So output formatting will also follow the similar kind of things. So a equal to 10, b equal to 20. So writing multiple statements in a single line and then printing them in the same format. The value of a is the empty place and b is the empty place, dot format of a comma b. So this kind of input is helping us to separately able to store the values at these positions like this, right? So similarly, a equal to 10, b equal to 20, multiple statements in a single line can be printed in this fashion. Print of the value of b is 1 and a is 0, dot format a comma b. So we are specifying the position of the arguments, and hence they have printed in this fashion like this. So earlier we haven't specified any position argument position specifications we have given, and hence it is as it is taken from the start to the end. If you have multiple number of things that to be considered here, then A, B, C, D, and so on, if we take the values that will be printing here will also be 10, 20, 30, and so on, if it is defined in that fashion. Or if we want whatever the variables that are taken here to print in some specific format, then we can also make some changes in printing that, right? So similarly, print hello name greeting dot format of whatever the value that to be replaced at this place can be given like this: name equal to Satish, greetings is equal to good morning. Then we will be able to print hello Satish, good morning, right? If we are changing the same statement by replacing the values, like I said earlier, Python is more used for some kind of automation kind of things, right? So being an academic background people, so if you take some example like this, right, always print some student name with some specific this one, right? So then we can directly go for position 1 filled with the position 1, 0 filled with 0, 1 with 1, other with the other, etc., etc., right? So whenever we want to change the 0th position with a new attendance list, new list of students, then this can be replaced with a new one, and hence 0th position will be filled with the first person, first position will filled with second, and so on. Similarly, if we want to take input from the user, then we have to use something called input, where we can consider something from the user. So if you observe, num equal to input is a keyword, input of enter a number. So it is displaying and waiting for my input. So enter a number. So if I specifically given 108 and press enter, then it will be returning the value. Okay, the user have given an input 108, and that is this one. Got it? Right? So these are the very basic fundamentals that you can look into while working on Python. So what we have seen till now is we have defined a lot of things like variables, assigning something, some inputs to some variables, identifying where specific things are located, observing some data types, converting from one type to the other type, defining lists, tuples, sets, followed by dictionaries, and converting from one data type to the other data type, followed by how to work on different input-output fashions, right? How to print or change the printing options that are available with the Python, right? So quickly, I'll just brush on some other things also. Okay, not yeah. Yes. Yeah. So as we have seen, we can add two different things that are defined with some variable, but we cannot add two different data types together. So for example, a equal to 17, b equal to hello. So we cannot directly add them in this fashion, c equal to a plus b. So if you want to make some other change, sorry, there is no d defined. So this is, yeah. So if you, sorry, so if we want to what is this, add two different things, we can go for using the print statement rather than directly mentioning them like that, right? Similarly, x equal to 12.9 and y equal to 3.6 both belongs to the floating conditions, and then we can directly go for printing x into y like this. Similarly, to observe the Boolean conditions, I have some alpha like this, a complex value, and a beta in a complex condition, and I'm adding both the complex things like this and to store in gamma like this. So print gamma, print alpha into beta like this. So we can able to do that task more comfortably. Similarly, so we can easily observe what are the things that are there inside this one. So print 1 in A, print 5 in A, B equal to A dot sort print B. So the first result is 1 in A. Yes, one is inside A, and hence we have got the result as true. 5 is not there inside A, hence we have got the result as false. Similarly, if you observe what is there, how to sort this one. So print B. So there is nothing there to work with, right? So similarly, A equal to 1 3 2 4, A dot sort. Then we can able to print the value of A, which is sorted. It means we cannot directly use the keyword sort and store into a new variable like this. So 1 2 3 4. If you want to sort the elements that are there inside a list in like A, then we have to go for A dot sort. Automatically, whatever that sorting result that is coming out of the compiler will be directly stored inside A like this. Now we can able to assign B with A. It is possible, but we cannot directly store the sorting result into a new variable. Similarly, we want to work on some text like this. So hello world, I'm happy to use. GVR says readability counts and Python shines here, followed by some other quotation part like this. So if you want to print A, then you can observe that print. Okay, I'll come one by one. So print A, hello world, it is clear, right? Similarly, if you go for B, sorry. Just a second. I'll just switch off this. Yeah. Yeah. So we can print something in this fashion. So I single quotation am happy to use Python. GVR says single quotation started. GVR says comma readability counts used double quotations and Python shines here. So when you are forced to use single quotation between some text, then we have to definitely go for using the double quotation to define that as a some string to a variable like this. If it is in the opposite side, then we can go for printing something in this way. You can observe this here. So DVR says readability counts. So readability counts is used with double quotation, and hence this single quotations is used outside the string. If you observe D, this is little different. So which used both a single quotation and double quotation between this one. So long ago, in a galaxy far away, ... It is a period of civil war, etc. Which is sorry. So this is something that we want to print in the as it is fashion. Then we go for using something in this way. Right. So where it is quoted with three quotations like this. So there is no variation that you can observe while printing. So it started long ago. It started at this position, and there is a tab space that you can observe for the next sentence that is printed. Similarly, we can also go for using multiple things that we have seen as examples earlier. So we can go for directly working on a single list kind of thing directly like this. So to print multiple outcomes. So 3 to 6, 2, 3, 5, 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is the third position, and 3, 4, 5, 6. So the values between 3 to 5 will be printed, and from 6 it will be attenuated. And the printf from the start to 7 till the 7th position will be printed, and similarly from 5th position to the ending can be printed, and if you want to print something in opposite fashion can also be done. So -1 is nothing but 34 belongs to -1, so hence till -1 it is printing from 1, right? So the opposite way we can start reading any given values from f kind of thing, right? So that can happen that way. So print f1 to 3. So you can observe that there is 2 columns that is printed here. It means 1 column, 2 end, after column whatever the value that is there till that part, we haven't specified any value. It means we have to print till the end, followed by 3. It means the values that are there inside this f must be printed with a separation of 3 values. For every 3 values, one of the value will be printed. So 1, 3, 13. So you can observe 0, 1. So 1 is 1, 2, 3, and then 3 is printed. 1, 2, 3, hence 13 is printed. 1, 2, and there is no other third value, and hence till 13 is printed. Similarly, from the start to the end should be printed with the separation of 2. So from the start, that is 0, 1, the second value is 1, again 1, 2, 3 is printed, 1, 2, 8 is printed, 1, 2, 21 is printed, 1, 2, there is no second value, hence till 21 it is printed, and so on. Here we have just taken the opposite thing to come out, so -1. So hence it is printing in the opposite fashion: 34, 21, 13, 8, 5, 3, 2, 1, 1, 0. So you can observe that if we want to print in some increment or decrement order also, or whatever the values that are stored inside this particular set can also be printed in these fashions. So next, moving to the tuple. So A equal to 17, B equal to 23, A comma B equal to B comma A. So you can observe that print A comma B defines to interchange the values of A and B in this fashion. A is stored with B, B is stored with A, and hence 23 is printed first and 17 is printed next. Right. So similarly, yeah. So similarly, alpha equal to hello, beta equal to world. So another special character is considered, that is 42, alpha comma beta equal to beta comma alpha. So print alpha comma beta, and we can also interchange the values that are there like this, right? So initially, world is saved into alpha, and hello is saved into beta, right? So next, what we are doing is we are oppositely moving the hello into this new special character, and gamma have 42, for example. Gamma have 42, for example, and that is stored into beta. And the final result that we can observe is hello and 42, right? So A comma B comma N equal to 12, 10, 0, X is equal to 12, 10, 0. So print of X 0 will be that value, whatever that can be stored inside this one. Right, so there are other things also to see here. Just a second, you can now see. Always the wait time will be little high comparatively when you start working on a new notebook in any Jupyter or Colab space. So I have a variable senior underscore citizen underscore eligibility. So that is 60. My age is equal to 62, and I am now writing some statements like this. So if my age greater than senior citizen eligibility, so print this one, else this one, right? So if else can be written like this without any flower braces that is used, but indentation that is used. Senior citizen eligibility equal to 60, my age equal to 62. If my age is greater than this one, then there will be a discount of 0.5, then there is a discount of 0.5, else grow up some more, print thank you. So if you run it, we are getting a result as eligibility for senior citizen rates, that is this one. And then if you want to print something, then we will be offering that specific task. So indenting errors. Sorry. So if you observe this one, senior citizen eligibility equal to 60, my age equal to 62. So if my age, the code remains same in the upper code cell and the lower code cell, but only the change is you can observe that if is started with an indentation, which is not needed, and that is showing here as the error. Always remember, whenever there is a need of indentation, we have to give that indentation. Whenever there is no need of indentation, we should not give any extra space or extra tab or extra number of spaces even than what is required, because the compiler will be taking that respective space in a different fashion, and that is the unexpected indentation error used to be like this. Similarly, if you are not following the indentation between some part of the code also, that is a problem. Earlier we have given the indentation properly as print and discount statements. Both the statements are inside if and before else, sorry. Hence they are followed with the same indentation. But here we are following something different, and hence the error is shown at the discount as indentation error. Right, so block summary. So you can see if x is equal to 7, if x greater than 0, print positive, else elif, 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 x less than 0, column, else, sorry, print negative, else, print 0. So depending on the value of x, it will be printing as positive. If we change the value of x as some -1, then it will be taken as negative, etc., etc. Right. So when you are going for using multiple kind of statements in a loop, then it is also fine. You are allowed to use something like this in this fashion: if followed by elif, elif followed by else to stop that particular statement. While loop can also be used in a similar fashion. So there should be indentation inside the while loop till the end of the loop, like this: a b n 0 1 0 while n less than 10, print a comma and equal to some empty space, a comma b equal to b comma a plus b. So a plus b will be stored in b, and b is assigned with a. N plus is equal to 1, so there is an increment operator here. So 0 1 1 2 3 5 8 13 21 34 and so on. Right, so we have separated all the things with an empty space, and hence each of the number is printed with an empty space like this. So if you observe, when there is no space, it will be printing in a continuous fashion like this, or if you have an extra space like this with a dot, so it will be printing like this. Okay, so hope you have better understanding. Similarly, we have seen if and while. So similarly for also, we will be following the indentation, and the syntax and semantics of for will be like this: f is equal to some set like this. So for n in f, print n comma n star n minus 1, and it will be printing as it is in this fashion. Right. So if you want to print in some different fashion, we can go for changing this operation and then going for whatever we want. So similarly, for ch in hello VES, it will be printing like this: print ch dot swap case end. So swap case is my keyword. So hence I'm trying to swap both the things and working in this fashion. So whatever the capital letters that are there will be used as a small letter, and the small letters will be converted into a capital letter. So H, which is a capital letter in the given input, is converted into a small letter, and then followed by the capital letters which are already given as small, and so on. So for P in 2357, print 2 star star P minus 1. So you can make some changes of the given values in the print statement as said earlier. So for X in the given number of things, Ashokan is a string, CLO is a string, 62 a value, an integer, some group of values inside it, that is Python, Haskell, etc. So print X, so Ashokan, CLO, 62, Python, and Haskell printed in the same line, right? So that is how we work on what is called loops. Okay, so next one we will look into basic libraries. So it is more easier even while using Python to define something and reuse it in our way how we want. So def is prime of n if n in 2357 return true, if n percentage 2, and the code followed with some other things. So you can observe how we are printing that. So print is prime of 12. So is 12 a prime number or not? So we have defined is prime in this fashion, right? So it will be checking that n percentage 2 equal to 0, then return false. If n in 2357 return true, r equal to 3, while r into r is less than or equal to n, then this follows. So we'll be just finding out whether the given input is prime or not. So this is not the user input, just we are checking whether it is returning as a proper whatever the logic that we have written here or not. Similarly, from 3.7 is the Python 3.7, the syntax can be used directly like this: def is prime to n colon int, which is boolean. So we have true and false as boolean. So if n in 2357, then return true. If n percentage 2 equal to 0, return false, and so on. So it is so easy to observe that there is some change of writing of code here, right? So def is prime of n is replaced with n to int bool, right? So it is returning us the similar results, but in a different fashion. Similarly, right, like when we work with some codes like this, for example, def bvr ith of n r equal to 0, while r into r is less than n, r plus equal to 1, return this one. So we can write many number of definitions like this and return whenever we want to use some value out of it, right? So we are not printing something out of that, but if we want to use something to get some value, we can go for printing it, right? So these are some of the jump starts we say for any the basic Python things, right? So next 45 minutes we'll be completely spending on the advanced usage of libraries and other things for machine learning, right? So and even the data science things, right? So we have taken something like this. So I'm defining a class. This is, so what I want to do here is I want to find whether there is any social anxiety, mental disease or not. So what I'm doing is I'm defining a class like this, class disease, and I'm defining an init, which is a basic form of defining some self things like this. So def init self comma disease equal to depression. So self dot type equal to disease, and again defining get name whatever that is there from the earlier format of printing. Yeah, sorry. So D1 is equal to disease, social anxiety disorder. So D1 equal to get name. So whenever we run this part, so you can observe that I haven't given any specific name for the disease at any place, right? So disease, social anxiety disorder. So when I call disease, social anxiety disorder, and when I ask it to return the name, then it will be returning whatever that is there inside this one, that is mental health diseases. What name of the disease is? Social anxiety disorder, right? So similarly, to understand a little more enhanced fashion, so if you want to take some block of the thing like this, so try print y except name error, print well, the variable y is not defined like this, so except this one. So if you observe, while I'm printing all this code, we'll be getting the result as well, the variable y is not defined. You observed, right? So try print y. So print y is the first condition, except the name error. So hence it is printed in the output. Similarly, the similar kind of idea is run with some numerical input from the user fashion. So try value int input something between 1 to 10. Accept value error, print this one, else value is greater than 0 and value is less than or equal to 10, between 0 to 10. You typed some value. So else this one value, though it is a number or though it is some part of the string or something else, right? So this is just to understand how many different ways we can able to write some or print something that we wanted to, right? So moving to the NumPy, so a powerful library, we can say NumPy is a powerful library that helps with working on mathematical operations that are available, right? So especially if you are from if you are working on any matrix kind of things, so it is more easier to use something while working with NumPy, right? So why I specifically given you a hint of matrix is because all the real-time time series data or real-time data that we record continuously, for example weather data or the pressure data, light data, or the stock market that is happening between 9 to 3, etc. So enough examples I can say. So for all these kinds of data, continuously there will be multiple dimensional points that we can able to represent, right? So for that reason, NumPy is some strong library that is helping us to work on these multidimensional data, right? So even you know that signal is something which is having some meaningful information, right? So it means that it inherently saying that signal is also some meaningful data, right? So NumPy is equally important that we can use for any signal manipulations also, right? So it is just like analog signal can be converted into digital signal that can be represented in terms of some numerical values, and the same can be operated by using NumPy, which is very strong. So here I have defined 3 different arrays of different dimensions. So first one is a 1 dimension, second one is 2 dimension, third one is 3 dimension. So you can observe that so my 1 dimensional array is equal to np.array 1 8 27 64 can be printed in this fashion. So I'll do one thing. Yeah, so you forget about the next this one. So my one dimensional array is 1, 8, 27, 64. Right. So whatever I have given as input in between np dot array, that is printed like this. So similarly, yeah, similarly 1, 2, 3, 4, comma 2, 4, 9, 16, comma 4, 8, 18, 32 can be printed in this fashion. Right. So again said similarly, last this one can also be printed like this. So 3 dimension, it is little difficult to understand that the printed array is a 3 dimensional array, but you can see that this is one array of 2 dimension, and this is another array of 2 dimension. Hence we can conclude that this is a 3 dimension array which that can be printed. Okay, so we will be clearly visualizing it in the next this one, but as of now you consider it as 3 dimension if you are not having enough clarity, right? So followed by so I can go for printing a lot of things about those dimensions using NumPy, right? So I forgot to say, sorry. Initially, as NumPy is not a library that is inherently coming up with Python, we are importing it with this name, import NumPy. So this is an optional thing. It is not needed to import it exactly with NP. So usually world is following the representation of NP as NumPy. Hence, always when you see some code in an open space, always NumPy is represented with NP. It means NP is used to call that particular NumPy library. So hence, here also we have followed the same thing. If you want something different, so if you want PP, it is okay. You can use PP, right? So, but in order to maintain some clarity between people, so I'm following the same thing, that I'm calling NumPy as NP, and hence here we are using NP dot array. NP dot array. If you are using PP dot array is also allowed and follow, right? So 330. Okay, just a second. Sorry. Yeah. So whatever the way that is here, that we can able to use it in this way, right? So NumPy as NP. So NP is an optional thing that can be used instead of always writing NumPy kind of thing, right? So NP dot array means that, so print my 2D array dot data. So whatever the data that is there inside this one, the memory address, not data exactly. So the memory address of this one can be printed by using my 2D array dot data, right? So wherever the data that is stored, that is extracting the information of that memory, and followed by my 2D array dot shape, that is 3, 4, because 2-dimensional array that you can see here have 1, 2, 3, 4 values, 1, 2, 3, right? So 3 things in 4 things inside three rows kind of thing. Hence we have got the result as 3 by 4, and the values that are inside it are int 64 format, which are 32 by 8. That is strides. We usually call 32, 8 number of strides that are there inside the array. So usually stride is nothing but whatever the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you can observe that whatever the highest possible value inside it is represented, and the change that observed between one to other is called stride here. So in general language, stride is nothing but the distance between 1 foot to the other foot when you are walking or running, right? So that is represented here in this way. Array using NumPy built-in function. So we'll see some examples quickly. So once is equal to np dot ones of 3 by 4. We are just creating some array which have some number of ones with a fashion 3 by 4, right? So it may be printing it may be printing something in this fashion: 3 by 4, 1 2 3, 1 2 3 4, right? So 3 by 4 number of ones in that fashion. Similarly, if we look here, zeros equal to np dot zeros, we have something like this. So I'm just adding something here just to get the result in a different fashion. That's it. So 0 0 0 0 0 0 with some space between them, because it can be represented in whatever way we want. It doesn't matter. So 2 3 4, because we have taken that number here, we are just trying to represent in a different format. That's it. With followed by np dot random dot random 2 comma 2. Random dot random is creating some random numbers in a form of 2 by 2 fashion. So this is 2 by 2 format, and hence we are getting the result with some random numbers filled in it. Similarly, np dot full 2 comma 2 comma 7. So always we'll be getting some value in this fashion, right? So 7 will be filled between 2 by 2 order, and followed by, we want to arrange some things like this. So 10 comma 25 with a separation of 5. So 10 15 20. So 25 is the last number. We cannot able to print that one, hence we are getting this like this, right? So similarly, if we want to mention some line space between some numbers that to be printed in some fashion, then we can go for 0 to 9 with the line space. Then we can print it like this: 0 dot, it means that 0, 0.0, 0.25, 0.5 space, 0.75, 1, 1.0, 1.25, 1.5, 1.75, 2. So this is, you can observe that this is following some fashion, right? So 0 to 2 is splitted into 9 number of parts and separated by some fashion. Okay, so that fashion is represented here. So similarly, if we want to work on NumPy array with some file operations, so it will be like this. So x is equal to np dot arrange 0, 0.0, 50.00, 1.0 like this, and then we can able to get some result in this fashion. So if we want to separate each and every value with some specific thing, then we will be applying the delimiter between them, right? So similarly, if we directly want to print something between them without any specific notation, then we can also able to print like that. Moving forward, we are just finding out some what do we say, some internal some things of those arrays. So n dimension, size, flags, item size, some n bytes kind of thing, etc. So we can be using them to find out what are the values that are there inside the array, or some values that are whether true or not, or whether the item size is the same or not, or when we are exactly speaking, when we are trying to compare one dimension, one array with the other array, these kind of operations are helpful to understand. Forward by some broadcasting operations, that is np dot ones of 6 by 6 comma 8, it will be printing like this, or a shape that is like this, and so on, right? So hope you have some understanding about how we are working on NumPy here, right? So we can give some values as input and trying to print them in some fashion, or we can change the values and try to print them in some other fashion also, right? So here you can observe that the exact the numerical operation can be seen. So np dot ones 6 comma 8, np dot random 10 1 8. So when we are adding x and y together, so there are some random values that is generated in y, and that is added with the values of ones here. So 1 plus something, some random number that is given with the result as 1.71, and so on like this, right? So it is just to understand that we can also add something of different size also. Okay, so moving forward, some mathematical operations again. So if we want to add x and y's together, we can directly go for calling np dot add, or subtract or multiply or divide, or find out the remainder of the specific thing. We can observe these things, right? So these are all operations that I have implemented to show you on some arrays, right? So instead of using some array, we can also directly take some values of x and y together, like x equal to 5 and y equal to 10 kind of thing, and apply the numerical operation between with the help of np. That is also fine. That is also acceptable. But my interest here is to show you how the multidimensional operations can be look like, and how difficult it is when we are working with a manual calculator to add to apply some mathematical operations and get some results and noting down on a paper, right? So it is so easier that you can observe that any mathematical operations can be applied to a n dimensional array. It could be 1 2 3 and so on, a n dimensional array format, and get a result in whatever the fashion that we want, right? And there are also slicing operations that to be done, or if you want to take some part of the specific input, and if you want to add some more number of things into that specific set, etc., or array, etc., can also be done, right? So moving forward from NumPy, another important library that we can talk about is pandas. So pandas is one big thing that happened in Python that helped a lot of researchers to just go with using some keywords instead of writing a very long codes to observe various operations on different kinds of data, right? So one of the very powerful library till date with lot of usages, etc., can be called, so is pandas. So if we want to find out what pandas version that to be that is updated version that is available, that is 1.3.5. This is just to use the printing thing. Okay, so data structures, right? So right, so you can observe that always pandas is also similarly called like numpy as np, like pandas as pd. Instead of always writing pandas, we'll be writing pd instead of pandas, right? So it is called as pd.series to observe something or to make some operations inside it, right? So dictionary, df. So df is something very important that to understand, that is instead of working on some arrays, we are defining a data frame in pandas which is having the similar properties like an array or some multidimensional data to be operated in a single code, right? So creating data frame from dictionary is, I'm defining a data frame as dict underscore df, A apple, B ball, A aeroplane, B bat, C cat. So I am just trying to write all these values which are in dictionary into a data frame. DICT underscore DF. So PD dot data frame, PD dot data frame is nothing but PD dot data frame is nothing but we are converting whatever the content that is applied as input here into a data frame. Here I have used the same name dict underscore df for getting a dictionary to be defined and the conversion of the dictionary into a data frame here, right? So I'll just show you this. Sorry, unexpected indent. So whatever the values that are here, A apple, B ball, A aeroplane, B cat, B bat, C cat, that you can observe here is printed in this fashion. So that is the beauty of pandas. So we can easily able to represent whatever the dictionary values that are there in the form of some table or some CSV file or some XLX file, etc. So we can easily able to convert this data frame into whatever the format of file that we can want, right? So similarly, if we want to observe a bigger data frame kind of thing compared with this one, so A has a range of 1 to 5, B has some timestamp, C has a series of data like this, D has some numpy operations happen, and E has some categorical data that is here. F have some mental health, which is a string. G is another string. So you can observe here that this is the new output of this one. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So you can observe that each data that is here. So A, B, C, D, sorry, just a second. Yeah. So you can see the organization of individual value from 0 to 3 as A, column A, 1, 2, 3, 4, B, which is a timestamp, that is date 2019 526, 2019 526, and so on. C with some value 5, so which is a floating value 5.0, D 3, and E have depression, F have mental health is challenging, G is challenging, like this, right? So we can easily able to represent whatever the type or whatever the value or whatever the text content that we want to represent directly in a single go into a data frame, such that we can easily able to convert the data frame into either an XLS or CSV or a JSON, etc. So these are just some other examples that you can observe to understand the other things that how easily we can able to represent the text into some format of some format that is easily understandable or readable, right? So I'm traditionally giving some input in this fashion, but when I store these particular dictionaries in into a data frame, and if I read the data frame and print that, it will be so easy that it is organized in such a fashion to read or to even operate in some different format. Okay. So loading a data set into pandas data frame. So I have taken a database, adult database like this. So I have included calling this database like this. So import pandas as PD. In any Jupyter file, when a new notebook is taken, So we have to first import pandas once, okay, to work whether we are multiple while we are using the pandas multiple times, doesn't matter, we have to import it once. So here I have taken it multiple times, which is not um, accepted. So import pandas as PD, columns, age, work class. So FNL, WGT, education number, and other data. This one headings that I want to write on this particular CSV file, right? So I'm just using df.head, which is a keyword. Head is a keyword which usually prints the first 5 rows of any database. Okay, if it is CSV, we'll be reading it as read underscore CSV. If it is XLS, we will be reading it as XLS, or if it is JSON.json, that anything is fine, right? So df.head will be helping us to print what are the items that are there inside the database of first 5 rows. Okay, so if you want some specific number of it, so if 9, so I'll write 9 inside this head, hence we will be getting first 9 values from 0 to 8, right? So we can make some we can understand some information of that respective database in this fashion. So df.info gives us lot of information that is there inside the CSV file. That is, for example, 0, the first row starts with 0, hence age, this one, work class, this one, and followed by whatever the column names that are here are explained in some format. So here the format that is printed is a universal format, that is non-null count, which is how many number of values that are there inside data is printed here. If we have any null data will also be printed, or if there are any non-null data available, the non-null data is printed, right? Here there is no null data, hence only non-null data is printed, and each column have some specific data type. It could be same or it could be different, right? So each and every this one column data type is printed like this, right? So followed by how many number of data types are there, and what is the overall memory usage of this specific CSV file that is included into data frame, right? So it is about 3.7 plus MB. So in order to not to go with all this information, so you can observe that there are 3251561 number of things that are here, right? So instead of looking each and every column like this, we can also go for understanding the overall shape of the data, right? So the database is having a shape of 32561 by 15 rows into columns, right? So there are 32,561 rows. Each row is having 15 number of columns, right? It means 15 different features of that specific thing is mentioned. Similarly, if we want to understand only what are the columns that are given as headings that defined initially by us, even can be seen here, right? So if it is already coming from the database itself, we don't manually offer these are the columns that are assigned to this database, right? As there is no column information available earlier, I have defaultly given the column information like this to assign whatever the data that is there inside it like this. Okay, right. So you can observe we can also go for using a describe function where the overall count of the individual information can be given like this: the mean, standard deviation, minimum value, 25% minimum, 50%, 75%, and the maximum value can be given like this, right? So these are some things that we usually apply for any EDA operation to understand about the database taken. So here our CSV file taken is a database itself. So we can go for looking into different operations on individual part of the row and columns of the whole data frame, right? So df.iloc of 10 or 0 to 10, 10 to 15, -2 to end, or starting to ending with the separation of 2, or 3 to 5 head, etc. Right. So we'll be getting some different results depending on the way we apply this particular values, or this particular code. So here only the last one is printed. So as we know in Python, if we don't use print function, whatever that to be printed in the whole code box, the last one will be shown in the output. So I'm again considering a new what do you say, random database. I'm generating a random database, not taking. So np.random.seed 24 df equal to pd.dataframe f np.linespace 1 10 10. So 1 to 10 separated by 10. df equal to pd dot concatenation operation df dot pd dot data frame np dot random dot random rand n 10 comma 5 columns should be like this, and axis should be 1. Axis means nothing but we are giving an axis that this should be in this format, and I location 0 to 2 np dot nan we'll come back to this one. Df. So as I said, that we want to print df, and hence df is printed like this, right? So f whatever that is here, 1 to 10 should be printed with a separation of 10. So 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, so on, 10.0. So each is separated by 10. So hence 1.0 to 2.0 is 10. If it is between 0.1 to 1, then it will be 0.01, right? So like that, it is defaultly defining some fashion to print, and the other way, other things are also printed something like this. And this is a little interesting. So what we wanted to do is we want to replace the values of the whole data frame at 0, 2 as nan. Nan means not a number. So we are just replacing the value of some value that is defaultly taken in a random fashion, because of this one is replaced with nan. So 0, 2 is nothing but the first row, 0, 1, 2, 2th position. So that is replaced with nan. So when we are using np, that is numpy, we can directly write it as small nan, so that it will be taken as capital N small an. So this is the general representation of not a number, and that can be printed here like this. So the overall data frame is organized in this fashion. So similarly, if we observe this particular data frame, or this particular data that is printed in the form of some rows and columns which are scattered between A to F and 0 to 9, there are a lot of numbers inside it which are printed random because of our interest, and I want to find the change or the variability between the data, right? So for that, what I am doing is, if value is less than 0, you can observe here, if value is less than 0, I'll turn it into red. If value is greater than 0, I'll keep it in black. And if it is not red and black, that is less than 0 and greater than 0, then I'll keep it in green. Okay. So what am I getting is, I'm getting the same data that is organized between A to F and 0 to 9, but whatever the negative values that are there are highlighted in red, and if there are any not a number, that is highlighted with green, right? So similarly, if we want to go for representing in a different format, this is fine. I want to represent it in a different format, like when we file something and when we want to highlight it with some different colors, different kinds of notations, different kinds of fonts, we can also go for it, right? So pandas is helping us to observe data and apply some changes to representation of data also. So here we are working on the same. So we want to highlight. So DEF, I'm defining something here. DEF highlight max of S is max equal to S double equal to S dot max. It means I'm highlighting the maximum value if it is yes, right? So what is S? So S is nothing but the data of the whole this one. So if you observe this one, yeah. So I'm also assigning some color for it. So background color orange. If V, else for V in is max. So for the whole column, F is a column. For whole column, the minimum value is 1.0 and maximum value is 10.0. What I am doing is I'm giving orange color to the maximum and green color to the minimum, and same is followed for all the rows. I also have NaN, and hence that is defaultly taken with red. Okay, so you can observe here I'm giving that highlight light highlight max dot apply highlight min dot highlight null color equal to red, right? So that is the reason why there is red, green and yellow, where orange, where orange is taken the minimum maximum value, green is taken the minimum value, and red for the NaN values. In other way, we can also go for distribution of colors by using another library called Seaborn. This is more interesting when you are working with a bigger data set comparatively. So as this is only a 10 by 6 kind of 10 by 6 kind of data set that we consider. But if you are considering a very bigger data set, this color change between one value to the other value is not enough. So we want to give some importance to individual point of data, and hence for that reason, Seaborn library is helping us to give or to make some beautifications to understand the data variability of the whole data set. So here, because of the selection of pink by using some light palette, so we have got some color change in this fashion. So the highest color is given with the dark pink, and the light color is given with the light pink, that is almost white and very dark pink. So and the variability is accordingly changed. So if you observe the negative values, whatever the highest negative value is available will be more white comparatively, and lesser negative value is be having lesser white, right? So that is how we can able to differentiate the variability of data inside a data set, right? Similarly, when we yeah, this is finished, sorry. Similarly, we can work on exploratory data analysis by following some rules and regulations. Here I'm taking Faker and Radar to work on to understand how EDA operations can be applied to better visualize whatever the data sets that we are going to consider. So it is installing the Faker and the Radar. So those two are some kinds of packages, so you can say. So I'm using both the things to work on the EDA, right? So here we have taken yeah, I'll come from the start, right? So from Faker we are importing capital Faker. So instead of considering all the libraries from the Faker, we are only considering the Faker part of the Faker, right? So this is little different comparatively with this one. So this is one portion of this one. So and hence I'm considering only this part of the portion. So import date time, import math, import pandas as PD, import random, import radar. So whatever that are here, which are not the external libraries of this one, it need not be imported. So these are all external libraries of the basic Python. Hence, we have imported all these things. So, okay, sorry, this is duplicated. Right. So we have we have imported all the things, and then we have generated some data with date, time, whatever the libraries that we have considered here. We have generated some random kind of data with some operation followed, right? So we have something like this in generate data that is saved in data frame format, right? So we have taken a stock.csv file, which is stored into a data frame. So this is how we able to observe. So matplotlib is another Python library which is used for plotting. As Seaborn is used to highlight or understand the different variability of data. Similarly, matplotlib is used to plot the plots. Okay, plot the data in some form of plots, right? So the data that have taken here, you observe, is printed here, right? So different dates followed by different values. So similarly, we have taken NumPy, we have taken calendar, we have taken matplotlib again, and trying to plot all of them uh, by following different print formats. Okay, so each data can be printed in different fashions, right? So to understand it in more clear way, instead of just writing a data or looking into the data, we are trying to plot them, right? So this is one kind of plotting fashion for the given data. So instead of writing the dates for the individual things in on x-axis, we are just writing the month of that specific thing and the specific outcome of each month, like this, right? So similarly, we can also go for printing some random uniform data in this fashion. So just turning this particular graph and printing it in y-axis versus x-axis kind of fashion, right? So similarly, we can also go for printing the data by using scatter plots. So which is one of the better way of printing some data while working with some regression tasks, etc. Right. So we have given all the axis information and what to be printed on that respective axis by considering some data from the given input. So from that we have developed some format of printing in this way, right? So this is all about the requirement. Why we are using scatter plot means there is no specific thing like that, but just to understand the data, then just looking into that specific thing, right? So similarly, some kind of line plots. So it is just following the same data, but printing it in a different format, like line plots. And similarly, we can also go for printing some figures in this fashion between sepal length and sepal width when iris data set is considered. Also some sort of bubble plot kind of things. So I'm little rushing because time is already running away. So if anybody wants me to specifically go into and explain me the specific reason why we have taken the piece of code like this, so I'll go through that, or else just visualize how you just visualize how usually exploratory data analysis is applied on a specific data set, right? Also, the area plot and stacker plot is also able to print in Python from matplotlib and Seaborn like this. So we have included another data set called Pokemon by type. So the how many number of times they are those particular characters are involving is printed here in the form of pie chart. And we can also go for different printing fashion. So I have used some length figure size like this, and hence because of that, these two are overlapped one on another. Similarly, table chart. So giving us a kind of emphasis that okay, this particular value is at this point, kind of thing. For example, if we are considering some mean or mode or median of some specific task of or output of a specific task, then we can use this kind of graphs to easily understand. Okay, till this part, this particular outcome has come, and from this particular part to this particular part, another outcome has come, like that. And even polar charts, histograms, the best used for the machine learning engineers. And if you want to plot some other things on the histogram, can also be possible. And lollipop chart, which will be like this. So there will be a straight line with some candy on the top of the straw. So which is called lollipop straw, the lollipop chart, right? So that is end of my talk. So if anybody want me to emphasize more on something, you can ask me.
Any questions from participant sets?
Share the Google Collab link anta. Anudeep.
Okay, I'll share that now, not a problem. So only the EDA part or everyone?
Only mention Collab link.
Okay, okay. Hi Basu, you want me to share the last presentation part or all the links? Sure. I'll share that. So I have posted it, so you can download it if you want.
On behalf of everyone, convey my deep regards and happy thanks to session speaker, Mr. Anudeep Peddi, sharing valuable information and knowledge about Python for machine learning algorithms. We understood how far we can use measurement technologies for signal processing applications, sir. I hope all the participants in the online and offline were utilized in the better way hands-on session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Anudeep.
Okay,
Wonderful
ma'am.
session.
Thank you, ma'am.
We missed you. One more
Hello, ma'am.
joined in our department.
Yeah.
Actually, I tried to open that Colab link.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Shinde. Please go ahead.
I